This cast on is another single yarn cast on. Okay, I have a little bit of a knot there. Okay, we're going to just make a new slip knot. It's a variation on the knit cast on, and it is a very interesting cast on. Very stretchy edge. You start with the yarn and a slip knot on the needle, and the needle in your left hand. You're going to bring the yarn over to make a yarn over. The yarn is going to come from the front to the back. Knit into the space, almost like you would for a knit cast on. Bring the yarn back, wrap it around the needle, pull a stitch out. Now comes the tricky part. And I've noticed I've just changed hands for holding the yarn. I'm now holding it in my right hand. And the reason for that is I want to bring the yarn under, twist it round that thread, and put it on the needle. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring the yarn to the back and to the front. I'm going to stick the needle into the space. I'm going to make a stitch. I'm going to bring it forward. You don't want it too loose because it'll be messy, and it is a stretchy cast on. Then we're going to bring it under and put it on the needle almost like a knit cast on. Snug it up. Again, so now the yarn is in front, bring it to the back and around. Stick the needle in the gap, wrap the yarn to make a stitch. Bring the stitch forward, down, under. Notice that the yarn is here, so you're bringing it past the yarn and twisting it around the yarn and putting it on. You'll notice too, can we see that? Let me get that focused just right, that it looks like a knit and a purl and a knit and a purl. And that's deceptive because the first stitch you're going to do is always going to be a knit with these pairs of stitches. If you don't want to do a knit and purl, you might want to just do a simple stitch, so you can do your, oh no, I did that backwards. You do it, yes, you want to do a simple stitch so that you could knit and have a knit stitch on the needle before purling this. You don't want to start out with a purl though, even though it looks like a purl. And then you can do a knit, and then you can do a purl, and then you can do a knit, and then you can do a purl. And you'll find that this is a very, very, very stretchy cast on, and it's an excellent cast on for ribbing. And you can have your ribbing starting right at the very first row of the cast on. So, shall we do that again? Because it is a little bit different than what you are used to. Start with the yarn and the needle in the left hand, make a yarn over, stick in almost like a knit cast on, the needle into the space, bring the stitch forward, bring it under the yarn, twisting around the yarn. The yarn is now in a forward position, bring it to the back to make a yarn over, knit into it, bring the stitch forward, down, under, twisting around the working yarn. This is a much easier cast on to do if you do a right-handed yarn hold. If you can do this, which I can't do right now, and not have to switch hands, it goes much, much quicker. Since I don't generally work with my right hand holding the yarn, for me to do this, to do that wrap, is a very big, awkward thing. So I'm going to bring it down, around. And really the only proviso is, even though this looks like a purl and this looks like a knit, the first stitch you're going to make is always going to be a knit, unless you end with another stitch. So there is a more complex version of the knit cast on.